Okay, so I wanted to just kind of give an update on where things are right now. So, I started out this channel when first went on medication. That was about 12 weeks ago, and I had some dosage increases, and I'm now at a higher dosage that's been for the last 2 weeks, and I think that might be about right. It may go up a little bit more, so that's helpful for me. Now I'm sort of anti-medication in general. I do believe there are sort of better options, but um, right now, I didn't have those options available to me. So this is a choice I made because I couldn't sleep and I couldn't eat properly. And it was really intense anxiety. And it's still been kind of intense at times. I have better days and worse days. And I'm doing all the energy work as well to work on it. And I do believe we're in a time when we're kind of releasing a lot of old energies, and that's part of the process here. I'm just trying to do it in a little more graceful way, as graceful as I can do, and find some ways to make this less painful and less, and just sort of being more conscious and aware of it so that I'm not fighting it. Because again, that's where a lot of the pain and suffering comes in, is from the resistance. That really is the truth. It's hard to, I really, dislike that whole concept but that's kind of how it works. Um, so, so yeah, it's a process of trying to kind of, be with these uncomfortable sensations. And one of the things that I'm doing right now on that regard is to try to get out of my comfort zone and get back to sort of living my life and, engaging in other things, get my mind out of my, rumination, which I can get into. And find other things to make sure I'm focusing on other things and also just getting out in the world and as I say, living my life. I have, that's a whole other conversation. But so I did some things to kind of get out of my comfort zone in terms of like just going out and about, which I felt uncomfortable doing that recently. Especially because of feeling just sort of physically uncomfortable and not physically balanced. But I've just been challenging myself to just do that, and that's helpful because you're teaching your body that you're safe as you do those things, and your body kind of will settle down the more you do that. With gently and slowly, whatever feels right. But just like going out and just walking downtown or just walking around, even frankly, can be going out of my comfort zone depending. But just and again, I mean, that's part of that is because I'm often shut down. So when you're shut down, like movement will feel uncomfortable. So even like eating a meal can feel uncomfortable for me when I'm really anxious because of that, I think. And I think I have other things attached to eating as well. Um, but but yeah, so there are all sorts of ways of kind of getting out of the freeze state. And that's also sort of a slower process that I'm doing with somatic experiencing. But just any movement you can do when you really don't feel like moving and you feel like it's unsafe to move, you have to show your body it's actually safe to just move. You can just do gentle movements, or just even just looking around the room, orienting. That's a great sort of way to sort of do just really, that's a small movement and can kind of help you, ground in your space. Um, in any case, I'm going to try not to give advice here, but just sort of say where I'm at here. But yeah, so I'm trying to kind of push that a little bit and challenge myself and kind of just been going through whatever's coming through. I haven't been doing as much of like sitting with my anxiety as much lately, just because I've been trying to just sort of move on from whatever it is and just let it be there and just kind of refocus. But it's a balance of finding like how much you want it to settle before you go and engage with something else. And sometimes the things that I'm engaging with aren't enough for me to stop my thinking and rumination. So that's kind of a process of just sort of discovery. And for me, just getting outside and getting in nature and walking around. I did a video on that today as well. It's just a really helpful way to get out of just stop thinking and just, focus on what's around. Try to get into the present moment. It's sort of one of my mantras is I come back to present moment awareness. That's really helpful because you do kind of get lost in your thoughts and lost in, the past or the future. And I have to keep reminding myself to come back to the present. All the techniques that I talked about in the videos I'm using and are really helpful. I kind of, as I said, for the last week, I kind of was things were sort of on hold a little bit. I was in a sort of better place, actually. I kind of moved through some of this anxiety. I was kind of getting used to this higher dosage and sleeping better. And I kind of let my body kind of reset a little bit. And now I'm kind of getting back to doing those things, and kind of trying to work on those a little bit more. So yeah, that's where things are right now. And yeah, I mean, the work that I'm doing with the practitioners also, I have to say, really has helped a lot. I had to work with a somatic experiencing practitioner, and that's been helping me. And I did have a session with an Amy Sher practitioner, and she's really good and very powerful, and that helped shift me. And I have homework from that I'm going to work on some of these deeper issues that are kind of, I do feel like we're all releasing these energies that are coming up now. We're being asked to kind of release old energies that are no longer serving us. So I'm trying to do it in a way that's as painless as possible. And drink a lot of water goes along with that, and try to move and try to keep your energy moving, as I was talking about in another video. But so yeah, this is a journey. Again, I'm sort of looking at still both perspectives, both the physical level of how I'm experiencing this anxiety, and then at the spiritual level, because I do believe we're shifting energetically, we're shifting in our consciousness, and we're going to a new age, and I do believe that's what's happening. That's my perspective. Yeah, so again, try to kind of support each other in figuring out ways to make this a little less challenging. I mean, I've been through it over the years in terms of having things come up and having to look at them and face, you have to, a lot of the spiritual journey aspect of this is like looking at the parts of yourself that you kind of don't want to see, and kind of have to say and own it and be like, oh yeah, okay, that's an aspect of myself. I have to kind of accept that, integrate it, forgive myself, integrate it, and try to learn from it and do better, And sometimes looking at your own behavior from that perspective can be painful. And looking at things that you have to change, that you don't want to change, things that you have to let go, that you don't want to let go of, that can be a very painful process. And sometimes, it can trigger old wounds. So, but just to know that other people are doing this, and to see that they can make it through, I think that's what I'm trying to show here. Like, you can get through it. It's intense, but like, you can get to the other side of it. I'm reminding myself of that too, because I have better days and worse days. So this stuff comes up, and again, I think I've asked for it, not asked for it, like asking for suffering, but like, I think I'm wanting to kind of move forward and grow and expand my consciousness. So I need to let go of some of these things that aren't serving me, and that can be, a process. And the process of spiritual growth, and again, evolution of your consciousness can have its challenges, and especially if there's resistance, which I'm stubbornly resistant often. That's where a lot of the pain and suffering comes from, I think. So in any case, I'm feeling better at this moment. At least it's evening, and I tend to be calmer in the evenings in any case. But I feel like I'm sort of more on track right now, and we'll see where it goes from here.